Seneca, Letters from a Stoic, Letter 33, at almost 1 o'clock in the morning because I took a long nap this afternoon. So, anyway, this is, of course, it's a good one. I wouldn't be talking about it if it weren't a good one. This was actually the letter, though, that made me think to myself, I genuinely think everybody should read Seneca. I really do. I think it's really good to help you think about life critically. Um, it's just really interesting stuff. And it's so there's of course there's two parts to this letter. There's almost always two parts to a letter. And the first one talks about like disconnected quotes. You see that kind of thing in social media all the time. And there's that's not bad. There's nothing wrong with those quotes, but that can't be everything. Like you have like Seneca, you see quotes of Seneca, not everywhere, but you see them some places. Let me turn off this fan. But you'll see quotes of Seneca. You'll see quotes from Socrates, quotes from the Bible all the time, um, and those are. There's nothing wrong with those, but you also need to spend time looking more deeply. Here's a good sentence. Give up this hope of being able to get an idea of the genius of the greatest figures by so cursory an approach. So that's it's not that you're not going to get something of value of like disconnected quotes. It's that you will get something of much greater value by looking into it in more detail. So for like just one example would be the Book of Romans. There's lots of like individual short quotes from the Book of Romans, but there's an incredible genius to the Book of Romans if you actually just sit down and read it. There's a flow to the logic that he has, that the Apostle Paul has, and it's absolutely incredible that you're not going to get if you just read individual quotes. So those quotes are fine. There's nothing wrong with those, but you really need to look at things in more detail. And part of the problem, if you only have those quotes, then it's easy to kind of get trapped uh, in a sense where you're not really thinking independently because you're not really getting the points that are trying to be made by those great figures, um, and you're not thinking independently, and that's something that Seneca criticizes people that don't think independently. That's a big problem today. Forever acting as interpreters and never as creators, always lurking in someone else's shadow. So many people today just refuse to think critically, think independently. Um, they exercise their memories on things that are not their own. And for the record, I'm not saying that I am great at that. I am always thinking independently. That's just not true. That's not an easy thing to do. It takes effort to do that. And I'd be lying if I there's a specific quote by Ben Franklin that I can think of that I really like, and I have no idea what the context of it is. I won't say what it is just because that would go down a completely different rabbit hole. But like I like that quote, but I don't really want to use it that much just because I don't know the context of it. I don't know exactly what the deeper meaning to it is. I don't know what all of it was trying to say, but anyway, um, it is important to be able to have a deeper understanding of these things, in part um, to evaluate them to see what their worth is. Anyway, sometimes a statement seems um, what's the word? Like it seems like a good quip. It seems like it's witty, but then it's actually kind of terrible. One thing I think of is what was that guy's name? He's a poet. I think he's passed now, and he wrote poetry for children. He wrote a a poem called "The Voice," and it was ridiculous. It's just the most ridiculous um, system of morality you could possibly have, and people just love it because they're not willing to think critically. Anyway, yeah, the shortest video I've made so far. I just think that was a really good letter.